Good morning, students. Welcome to the class. So today's topic is ovary. There are some cysts that can be seen in ovary, like cystic follicles if it is less than 2 centimeters, and if they become more than 2, they are called as follicle cysts or follicular cysts. Then luteal cysts can be seen, which are lined by luteinized granulosa cells. Next is polycystic ovarian syndrome. Okay, so remember, it will be covered in the next class, but just remember, polycystic ovarian syndrome comprises of polycystic ovaries, chronic anovulation, menstrual abnormalities, decreased fertility, and hyperandrogenism. Most important in ovaries is ovarian tumors. Okay, it's most commonly asked question also in theory. Ovarian tumors, 80% are benign, and benign tumors usually seen in 20 to 45 years, whereas malignant tumors are seen in the age group of 45 to 65 years. Ovarian cancers, though they form only 3% of cancers in females, they account for more cancer deaths, okay, contributing to fifth most common cause of cancer deaths. Classification of ovarian tumors. Ovarian tumors can be classified into surface epithelial tumors, germ cell tumors, sex cord stromal tumors, and metastatic tumors. Okay, so this table tells you the most of the things, like what percentage of it is the contribution to ovarian tumors, okay, and the age group, different types under each group. Okay, so we'll cover one by one. First, surface epithelial tumors of ovary. Surface epithelial tumors. Okay. There are around 6 types: serous tumors, mucinous tumors, endometrioid tumors, clear cell tumors, transitional cell or Brenner tumors, and malignant mixed Mullerian tumor, which has both epithelial and stromal component. Sex cord stromal tumors or granulosa cell tumors, thecoma, fibroma, fibrothecoma, Sertoli Leydig cell tumors, and steroid cell tumors, also called as lipid cell tumors. Germ cell tumors are teratoma, dysgerminoma, yolk sac tumor, choriocarcinoma, mixed germ cell tumors, okay, and finally metastatic tumors. Now coming to serous tumors, they account for 30% of ovarian tumors and 30% of them are malignant. Okay, so they account for 30% of ovarian tumors and 30% are malignant. The risk factors of BRCA mutation, family history of breast ovarian cancers. Okay. So the thing that you have to remember in these tumors, surface epithelial tumors, is the benign component is called as serous cystadenomas. Okay, and malignant tumors are called as serous cystadenocarcinoma. Okay, so remember, serous cystadenoma is benign, serous cystadenocarcinoma is malignant, and there is a borderline lesion called as borderline serous cystadenoma. Okay, so these terms are common for all the serous and even mucinous tumors. Same thing is applied. So one thing, the cysts in serous tumors are lined by columnar epithelium cells. So these ovarian tumors ovarian carcinoma can be type 1 or type 2. Okay, type 1 tumors are well differentiated and are associated with borderline tumors, whereas the type 2 tumors arise from in situ lesions in the fallopian tube or inclusion cysts, and they are high grade. So morphologically, these serous tumors can grow up to 40 centimeters, and serous cystadenocarcinomas will show solid and papillary areas, and these tend to be bilateral, and samoma bodies are also seen. Okay, so as I've told you, there are in serous tumors, depending on the malignancy, they are divided into benign are called as serous cystadenomas. You can see the serous cystadenoma here. So they are completely cystic. Okay, benign tumors, cystadenomas, are completely cystic tumors. Microscopically, these cysts are lined by columnar cells which are ciliated. Columnar cells which are ciliated. Okay, you can see this tumor. You can see some solid areas from outside itself. From the surface itself, you can make out that there are some little bit of solid areas. Okay, so when you cut, you can see this is called as papillary excrescences. This is called as papillary excrescences in the ovarian tumor. Okay. So, and this tumor shows even more solid areas. So, more the solid areas, more the chances of malignancy. So, serous cystodoma, as I have told you, cysts are lined by single columnar cells. Okay, when is a borderline? Borderline will show papillary growth. Okay, you can see branching nature of the tumor. So branching nature will be seen and some amount of stratification. That means the lining cells will have more than one layer of cells. So that is borderline. Whereas when you see the tumor cells invading the stroma, then it becomes carcinoma. Okay, papillary serous carcinoma, you can see branching pattern of tumor as seen in borderline. But what is thing that is extra here is invasion of the tumor. You can see the right side, there is a stroma being invaded by tumor cells. Okay, then it becomes carcinoma. So one more feature that can be seen in papillary tumors is psammoma bodies. Papillary tumors will show psammoma bodies. Then coming to mucinous tumors. Okay, mucinous tumors account for 25% of the ovarian tumors, and like serous, they are also cystic, but there is more chances of multiloculation, and the cyst will have thick gelatinous or mucinous material, whereas in serous tumors, the cyst will have thin fluid, serous fluid. And the lining in mucinous tumors is usually mucin secreting epithelium, either resembling cervical epithelium or intestinal epithelium. You can see the mucinous cystadenoma. Usually they are multiloculated, and the lining epithelium is columnar but mucin secreting. Then pseudomyxoma peritonei. So the meaning of this term is presence of mucinous ascites, presence of mucin in the peritoneum. Okay, that is called as pseudomyxoma peritonei, usually due to tumors. Okay, there will be ovarian tumor, but the primary tumor usually will be in the appendix, which has spread to ovary and also the peritoneum. Okay, that is pseudomyxoma peritonei. Then coming to endometrioid tumors. Endometrioid tumors are called endometrioid because the tumor shows the glandular pattern which resembles the endometrium. Okay, that's why they are called as endometrioid tumors. 15 to 30% cases there is also independent endometrial carcinoma which can be seen, and in around 20% of the cases there can be coexistence of endometriosis. Then coming to Brenner tumor. Brenner tumors are solid or cystic tumors. Okay, and all these tumors which come after these serous and mucinous are usually unilateral. Okay, only serous and mucinous tend to be more bilateral tumors. Brenner's tumors are characterized by presence of transitional type of epithelium which is embedded in the stroma. You can see here thick stroma with islands of transitional type of epithelium. The clinical features common to all the ovarian tumors is abdominal pain and distension, urinary and GIT symptoms due to pressure on GIT and urinary tract, vaginal bleeding, ascites, and some hormonal activity because of sometimes some tumors can secrete hormones, and those related to spread of the tumor. One important tumor marker in your ovarian tumors is CA125. CA125 which can be seen increased in case of serous and endometrioid carcinomas. Serous and endometrioid carcinomas. Now coming to germ cell tumors. Germ cell tumors constitute around 20% of ovarian tumors. Okay, and usually seen in children and young adults. Children and young adults. Remember, surface epithelial tumors are seen in with older adults. Okay, young to older adults. Whereas germ cell tumors, children are and young adults. Teratomas. Teratomas can be divided into mature, immature, and monodermal or specialized. Okay, so as you know, teratomas are characterized by presence of heterogeneous collection of tissues derived from all three germ cell layers. So there is one type of teratoma called as dermoid cyst. Dermoid cyst shows the tissues derived only from the ectoderm. Dermoid cyst shows tissues derived only from the ectoderm like skin, adnexal structures, hair, and cheesy sebaceous material. So you can see the teratoma. Okay, when the teratoma shows all well differentiated tissue, like you can see here, cartilage, fat, glands. Okay, then it is called as mature teratoma. Okay, so you can see here mature cystic teratoma, or even can be called dermoid cyst, because it shows only the tissues derived from ectoderm, that is skin, keratin, hair follicles are seen here. So it's a dermoid cyst. Again, the dermoid cyst cut section showing you cheesy material and hair. Monodermal or specialized teratomas show only differentiation along a single tissue. Okay, only single type of tissue will be seen. Example is struma ovary, where only thyroid tissue is seen in case of struma ovary. Immature teratomas usually show immature, that means the tissues which resemble the fetal or embryonic tissue. Okay, they are considered malignant teratomas. Next, coming to dysgerminoma. Dysgerminoma is an ovarian counterpart of seminoma. Okay, so similar tumor seen in testis is called as seminoma. All dysgerminomas are malignant. All dysgerminomas are malignant, but only few are aggressive. Remember, they are radiosensitive. They are solid tumors. You can see microscopically they are characterized by large cells which have clear cytoplasm, and these sheets of cells will show thin traversing septa. You can see a thin traversing septa in the upper left side. Okay, and this septa can also show lymphocytic infiltration. So that is a feature of dysgerminoma. Sheets of cells, the cytoplasm is clear, thin transversing septae, and lymphocytic infiltration. Next is yolk sac tumor, also called as endodermal sinus tumor. This is the second most common after dysgerminoma, and this is characterized by presence of Schiller dual bodies. Schiller dual bodies, hyaline droplets. Okay, hyaline droplets are rich in alpha fetoprotein. So what is Schiller dual body? These are cystic areas in the tumor. The cysts are lined by germ cells, tumor germ cells, and the cyst contains in the center a vessel. Vessel again is lined by the tumor cells. Okay, that is called as Schiller dual body. Next is choriocarcinoma. Choriocarcinoma secretes HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin, and it is highly malignant and it's resistant to chemotherapy. Okay, see, it is similar to placental tumors. Choriocarcinoma is a common placental tumor. Okay. Next is sex cord stromal tumors. Sex cord stromal tumors. Granulosa theca cell tumors. Granulosa theca cell tumors characteristically present in postmenopausal women. Okay, and they secrete estrogen. Because they secrete estrogen, there is more chances of precocious puberty in young girls, and also increased chances of carcinoma, endometrial carcinoma. So granulosa cell tumor usually solid, can be cystic also. You can see the tumor cells, granulosa cells. And the characteristically, microscopically, there is presence of Kahl-Exner bodies. Kahl-Exner bodies, that is the tumor cells forming rosette-like appearance. Rosette-like appearance. Fibrothecomas. Okay, so when the fibrous cells are there, it is called as fibromas. Okay, when the cells are bit plump, bit thicker, they are called as thecomas. 40% are associated with condition called as Meeks syndrome, where ovarian tumor is associated with right-sided hydrothorax and ascites. So you can see ovarian fibroma, spindle cells microscopically, and grossly you can see gray white tumor. Okay, when it becomes yellowish when there is more of thecal component. Sertoli Leydig cell tumors. Sertoli Leydig cell tumors can produce masculinization, that is features of male, usually unilateral. Then coming to metastatic tumors. In metastatic tumors, Krukenberg's tumor is important. Krukenberg's tumor is a tumor of ovary produced due to signet ring cells. Okay, usually it is a secondary tumor arising from metastasis from GIT, most commonly stomach. Okay, microscopically it shows signet ring cells. Signet ring cells, that means cell with nucleus pushed to the periphery and most of the cytoplasm is clear. Okay, so that is called as Krukenberg's tumor. So that's about ovarian tumors. So remember the classification of ovarian tumors: surface epithelial, germ cell, sex cord stromal tumors, metastatic tumors. Okay, and remember examples under each these headings. Okay, and classification of the serous and mucinous tumors into benign, borderline, malignant. Benign, borderline, malignant. Okay, so next coming to your second internal. The previous class I have given you few important questions, and this is the question paper. 40 marks question. 40 marks question paper. Please write the answers to these questions and send it to email bjnaveen@rediffmail.com. So remember, the answer should be handwritten. And you can take a photograph or you can send PDF format of what you have written to the mail bjnaveen@rediffmail.com. And today will be the last day for submission. Thank you.